General, before we begin, connected to the lost 10 tribes.
I have one that
Okay.
came up. I don't, how, if this has in the direction of what you're going to talk about, but last night, a rabbi brought up about Noachides, and I was thinking, if a Noachide, that the rest of the world, Jews have to keep the commandments, Noachides don't, and they're accepted by Hashem by keeping Noahide laws. Question: if you have some Jewish blood in you, can you be a Noahide? Are you not required to keep the commandments, even if you aren't, accepted by, Israel to be brought back to the land? But if you have some Jewish blood in you, can you go back to being a Noahide?
So we Brit-Am, Noachides, first of all, Noachides, the concept of a Noachide is generally accepted throughout the Jewish Orthodox community, even though here and there are some who don't. It's not universal. It's not unanimous, but on the whole, it's well accepted. But we in Brit-Am, we don't emphasize it, don't go into it, don't try not to relate to it, because in our opinion, you have the Jews, you have the 10 tribes, and you have the rest of the world. Noachides are something for the rest of the world. Whereas the 10 tribes are alone, are unique. People who believe they might belong to those 10 tribes, so they too, they have the option. They can convert to Judaism if they want to, but we don't encourage that. We believe that they should try and seek their destiny within the 10 tribe framework. And we also have biblical sources for this, and they should work towards that. And that also answers your questions. That would also apply to someone who is partly Jewish or of Jewish descent. If they know that for sure that they're Jewish, so they're Jewish. They have to prove it. Perhaps they have to bring proof of it to establish it before the authorities. But that is the way the direction they have to go in. If they don't, if it's only a grandfather, great grandfather, or something, or not my great grandmother, that's not accepted by Jewish halakha. So they're absolved from having to do anything. Or if it's only a suspicion, something they're not certain of, then they're not obliged to it, because there's a principle that someone is obliged by something or to somebody, so the person making the claim against him has to bring the proof. He doesn't have to prove anything. But if in his heart and soul he has a pull in that direction, that God is calling him, so that is something he has to work out on his own. I probably confused you altogether now with that complicated answer, but anyway, that's how we look at it.
Okay.
Can I follow up on that?
Pardon?
Can I follow up on that?
Yes, go ahead. What's your name, please? What's your name? Arabic?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
My Hebrew name is Israel. So I'm aware that in certain places in the world, the rabbis, or observant rabbis, will not touch the subject of conversion. And if a non-Jew is driven by he really wants to be a Jew and keep the commandments, and he just takes it on himself. Like, I mean, a goy isn't supposed to keep Shabbos completely, but he says, no, I'm going to convert. He takes tipat dam. He does what and he lives as a Jew. Is he considered like sinning because he couldn't go to a Beit Din because there was no Beit Din that was willing to get involved with conversions, and there was no Chacham that was willing to do it. So he just did it on his own. Like I've heard in certain South American countries, the rabbinate will not touch the subject of conversions. So could you comment on that? Like what you just said, oh, he just had to work it out by himself. So what does that mean?
everything we have when you have options, different options to the different people. So everyone has to decide which option is suited to them. The explanation for South Americans and South American the job is not wanting to touch converts is because in the past a lot of cases where people converted and troubles and bad things happened to the Jewish community because of it.
Now, I realize they have reasons. I'm just saying, what does a person in that situation do?
So the person, every case is an individual case. You can't give general rules, but in general, everyone has to do the best they can under the circumstances they find themselves in. They have to ask the Almighty for guidance, and as they see it, do the best they can. On the whole, the general rule is that things that are not certain, half and half, are not encouraged. Person who lives like a Jew, thinks he's a Jew, but is not recognized with the Jewish community. So he should move. He should move to a place where the Jewish community will accept him. Maimonides talks of a case of a Jew who finds himself amongst Gentiles. He is a real Jew, and he can't live like a Jew where he's going. So he has to move. That was also a situation in his times when the Jews were being persecuted in Spain, in North Africa, and elsewhere. And when you're in a certain place, and it's difficult to be Jewish, so you go to a place where you can become Jewish. If you feel in your heart and soul that you're a Jew, and you live like a Jew, even though the community is not accepting of you, go to a place where they will be. I know that also in England at one stage it was very difficult to convert in England, because they had an agreement with the Church of England. I don't know if this still holds, but they had the Jewish community had an agreement with the Church of England not to accept converts. So anyone who wanted to convert, they used to go to Holland. And it's a hassle, but they had to go to Holland for a few months to be away from your home and family, your place of work and everything, but that's what a lot of people did. So this is a reality. So too, in my opinion, it's not a good thing for a person to be in a halfway house, to be half of this and half of that. He should make a decision what he wants to do, and go ahead with what he sees to be the right thing, and endeavor to do it the best as well as he can under the situation he finds himself in.